Hey everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video, I'll be sharing with you all the books that I want to read this fall. I feel like I'm finally back into a reading routine and just really enjoying reading now. I feel like I was super slumpy this summer just with all of my traveling and job searching stuff. So I feel like now that I've kind of settled into a routine and I won't be traveling for the foreseeable future, I feel like my reading definitely has kind of picked it up a notch a little bit. So I'm really excited for fall. There's been books on my TBR that I've been waiting to read until this time of year. So I probably could have had more than the 5 that I have on here, but these were the ones that I was most excited about and I just can't wait to dive in. So without further ado, let's get started. First up, I have The Once and Future Witches by Alix E. Harrow. And this is a book that has caught my eye. I bought this back at my local bookstore like a while ago, and honestly I've been waiting until this time of year to pick it up because I'm like, it just goes with the vibes, and I love the books that kind of have like the mismatched like edging on the sides to kind of go with that like autumnal reading vibe. So it says, in 1893 there's no such thing as witches. There used to be in the wild dark days before the burning began, but now witching is nothing but tidy charms and nursery rhymes. If the modern woman wants any measure of power, she must find it on the ballot box. But when Eastwood sisters, James Juniper, Agnes Amarantha, and Beatrice Belladonna join the suffrages of New Salem, they begin to pursue the forgotten words in ways that might turn the women's movement into the witches' movement. Stalked by shadows and sickness, hunted by forces who will not suffer a witch to vote, and perhaps not even to live, the sisters need to delve into the oldest magics, draw new alliances, and heal the bonds between them if they want to survive. This just sounds super interesting. I like how it kind of ties in the Salem witch trials with the suffragette movement, which I think just sounds interesting. So I like kind of how it has like this fantastical element kind of around this historical period. So it just seems like it'll be a lot of fun. And like I said, I've been holding out reading this until this time of year, so I'm super excited. Next up, I have The Bone Orchard by Sara A. Mueller. And this is a book that my fiance read and he recommended it to me, and I feel like this just has the perfect, especially like Halloween-y vibes, but it just sounds interesting, and it's like another like feminist witch book as well. So it says, tucked away beneath a notorious house of ill repute, there is a garden where the trees are grown from bones and nourished by the darkness of secrets. The clattering, ghastly harvest is tended to by the women who live and work at the orchard house. Charm the madam in her haunting, beautiful charges, shame, justice, desire, pride, and pain. Except on Tuesdays, when the emperor alone calls at Orchard House to see his personal concubine, until the day he summons Charm instead to the palace to charge her with his dying decree. Choose which of his honorable sons will inherit the empire, by discovering which one has been responsible for his murder. If she completes this final task, she will be free from a life of bondage and servitude. Torn between the dead emperor's will and the whispers of her own ghost, Charm must choose justice for an empire she hates, or vengeance at the cost of her own freedom. I just think this is very interesting. It sounds like it has like a dark vibe to it. So it says, Charm is a traitor, a witch, a whore, a prisoner, a survivor. And I just think that sounds really interesting. I feel like especially with the dilemma that she's going to have with kind of getting her payback or her freedom, I think is kind of a very good kind of which path is she gonna take. And yeah, it just seems interesting, dark, perfect to read at this time of year. Again, this is another TBR book that's been on my shelf for a while, but I kind of want to read it in the fall or maybe like winter time, and it is Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro. This is one, again, that has caught my eye, and I feel like it just gives off like autumnal vibes in like the best way, like kind of like gothic almost. But it says England 1882. In Victorian London, 2 children with mysterious powers are hunted by a dark figure of darkness, a man made of smoke. 16-year-old Charlie, despite a brutal childhood in Mississippi, doesn't have a scar on him. His body heals itself whether he wants it to or not. Marlowe, a foundling from a railway freight car, shines with a strange bluish light. He can melt or mend flesh. When a jaded female detective is recruited to escort them to safety, all three begin a journey into the nature of difference and belonging and the shadowy edge of the monstrous. What follows is a story of wonder and betrayal from the gaslit streets of London and the wood theaters of Tokyo to the eerie estate outside Edinburgh, where other children with gifts and talents have been gathered. There, the world of the dead and the world of the living threaten to collide. I feel like this just sounds really fun and interesting, and I love kind of the Victorian Gothic vibes that I'm getting, especially kind of going around from London to Edinburgh to Tokyo. I feel like it will be fun to kind of follow around these characters in these cities during this time period. It just kind of gives me those fall Gothic, cobblestone vibes that I'm looking for this season. So yeah, this one just sounds super interesting, and again, it's been one I've been holding off reading until this time of year, so it better be worth it. I feel like if it's fall, you need to read a dark academia book, and this is one that again I've heard great things about. I loved The Secret History by Donna Tartt, and this is one again my fiance read and he really liked it and recommended it, and it just seems like I've heard great things about it, and it's If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio, and he says this is really good in terms of tropes, because you just hate all the characters, especially because that's a common thing in dark academia is hating the characters, and he said the author does a really good job at that. But it says, enter the players. There are 7 of us then, 7 bright young things with wide, precious futures ahead of us. Until that year, we saw no further than the books in front of our faces. On the day Oliver Marks is released from jail, the man who put him there is waiting at the door. Detective Collarborn wants to know the truth, and after 10 years, Oliver is ready to tell it. A decade ago, Oliver is one of 7 young Shakespearean actors at Delcourt Classical Conservatory, a place of keen ambition and fierce competition. In this secluded world of firelight and leather-bound books, Oliver and his friends play the same roles on stage and off: hero, villain, tyrant, temptress, and ingenue, and extra. But in their 4th and final year, good-natured rivalries turn ugly, and on opening night, real violence invades the students' world of make-believe, and their greatest acting challenge yet, convincing the police, each other, and themselves that they are innocent. Again, I like how we kind of know, it's kind of that kind of similar kind of themes to The Secret History, and then kind of inserting them into kind of an acting school, and we're kind of getting that dual storyline perspective of Oliver looking back on this time and then kind of getting the past storyline leading up to that event. I think will be a lot of fun. Again, I've heard great things about this one, so I'm really excited. So I feel like the books that I talked about were kind of more dark and serious, so I wanted to include something that would be a little bit more kind of what I've been seeing kind of passed around on the internet is a cozy fantasy, and so this is again another book that's been on my TBR for a while, and it is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandanna. Again, I feel like this is perfect for fall, but it says, as one of the few witches in Britain, Mika Moon knows she has to hide her magic, keep her head down, and stay away from other witches so their powers don't mingle and draw attention. And as an orphan who lost her parents at a young age and was raised by strangers, she's used to being alone, and she follows the rules, with one exception: an online account where she posts videos pretending to be a witch. She thinks no one will take it seriously. But someone does. An unexpected message arrives, begging her to travel to the remote and mysterious nowhere house to teach 3 young witches how to control their magic. It breaks all of the rules, but Mika goes anyway and is immediately tangled up in the lives and secrets of not only her 3 charges, but also an absent archaeologist, a retired actor, 2 long-suffering caretakers, and ... Jamie. The handsome and prickly librarian of Nowhere House would do anything to protect the children, and as far as he's concerned, a stranger like Mika is a threat, an irritatingly appealing threat. As Mika begins to find her place at Nowhere House, the thought of belonging somewhere feels like a real possibility. But magic isn't the only danger in the world, and when peril comes knocking at the door, Mika will need to decide whether to risk everything to protect a found family she doesn't know she was looking for. This just sounds like very cozy. I like kind of like the hidden witches kind of learning school vibe, and how this kind of has themes of found family, and it seems like there's going to be kind of like a romance element in here as well. That seems like it'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, I thought also, I was like, I feel like these are very like the ones I talked about earlier were very kind of dark in theme, and I feel like this one's a little bit lighter. So I'm excited to pick this one up. I've heard like kind of pretty good things about this one, so I am excited to dive in. But like I said, I haven't been this excited about reading in a while, so I take it as a good sign that after my summer slump, my reading will definitely kind of pick it up a notch now. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what some of the books that are on your fall TBR are, and all of that fun stuff. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.